Hey, this is Jessica Hammer, host of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Ryan Pierce, host of Completely Serious here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Completely Serious, where we talk about sports and have fun with great guests. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Completely Serious. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Throughout history, the course of sports has been shaped by one thing: the fans.
From the moments you never dreamed of
to save the USA's life in this World Cup.
Hall, the runner, loose ball, it's good! Gonzaga, the slipper still fits! To the moments that still give you nightmares. Behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his fifth!
Through the good and the bad, fans have helped change the games we watch and the players we love.
They may not be the most logical people.
You are a factory of sadness! I'll see you Sunday. But they know their teams better than anybody.
They'll blow in the ninth.
You may not always see them, but you know where to find them.
After all, there's nothing quite like the view from the cheap seats.
Broadcasting as part of the Public House Media Network.
Grab a chair and enjoy all there is in the cheap seats.
Oh my God. As if football couldn't bring us any more joy, pain, confusion, cirrhosis. I like all of it. It's all here. There's so much of it because of football this weekend here in the NFL, college football, whatever it may be. We're talking about it. This is the Cheap Seats, presented as always by Squadcast.fm, broadcasting as part of the Public House Media Network. Christian Heimall with you, along with Jon Lauder, as always, here on this beautiful Monday, September 17th. John, I know I texted this to you yesterday, but seriously, on a level of Brian Bostic to Lawrence Tynes, how pissed are you at the Packers game?
Yeah, you know what? That roughing the passer call on Clay Matthews was just atrocious. I'm actually
Brutal.
Watching it again. Good God! I mean, let these guys play. Let them play.
I don't get it anymore.
It's football.
And I don't understand the full weight thing. The full weight thing is confusing because explain to me how a linebacker, quote unquote full weight is not okay, but a 300-pound offensive lineman pancake blocking a safety is okay, because that's full weight right there, right?
Yeah, this tackle was completely legal. Well, actually, I guess legal. Not. It should have been. It
should have been completely legal, and honestly, it really did. You can honestly, it's rare. It's rare that I can point to a call an official made and say that changed the game, but that changed the game. Packers win that game. Packers win that game if not for that. So,
100%. Yeah.
We'll get into all of it here coming up. There's a lot to talk about. NCAA football. We finally, John, we still know who the top four teams are going to be, but we did get a little bit of a shakeup in college football over the weekend. We'll touch on that in a little bit. I'm sure you'll rib me about Notre Dame, which is fine because they deserve it 100%. And we'll get into all of that coming up in just a little bit. NFL as well. Don't forget to head to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. You can find us on thephmedia.com, where you can also get some awesome Cheap Seats gear. But did want to mention we would be remiss. There was some other news over the weekend, John, and so just briefly touch on it. A rematch between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. Canelo wins the rematch by majority decision, no draw this time. So the belt changes hands. And this sets up, the trilogy, which is what everybody really cares about, right? Because it's all about making money in these sports, isn't it?
Yes.
Clearly, you are so excited.
Sorry, it's boxing. I really could care less. You're not going to get anything out of me from. Because to be honest with you, Gennady Golovkin sounds like some sort of disease that you would get in Vietnam. I thought it was Gennady.
I thought it was Gennady. I thought it was like Kennedy, but with a G.
Well, let me tell you what. If I'm saying it right and you're not, and I don't like boxing, that says a lot about you.
That's a good point. It says a lot about me. But here's what really matters. Actually, I should say this. Here's what really doesn't matter. over the weekend, Floyd Mayweather felt the need to have a camera on him because he hasn't had that in over a year.
God, I hate him so much.
And he decides to say that a rematch with Manny Pacquiao is coming this year.
Great.
We got 14 weeks left in the year, and you're going to tell me that you're going to come out of retirement to go to 51-0 for a rematch from 3 years ago for a fight that should have happened 12 years ago? You want to talk about something nobody cares about? Literally, nobody cares about this. And the problem is, people are still going to buy this pay-per-view and make it relevant. That's the problem.
It is. It's bad. I mean, oh, God, Floyd is the worst. He's
I would love to watch Floyd
worst.
fight Canelo. I want to see Floyd fight Canelo or Triple G. I want to see him actually fight someone who's in their prime, who's actually a legitimate title contender, instead of, there's a term.
But he'll never do that because he wants to stay undefeated because of his brand. He'll never do it.
He is the smartest brand manager there is. He never puts his brand in any real problems other than the whole woman beater thing, which makes him a terrible human being. Yeah, I just can't. I saw this. I'm like, I don't care, but at the same time, there are going to be people who pay for the pay-per-view, and that's the unfortunate part.
Tons of people are going to pay.
Tons of people. So, and then would be remiss if we did not congratulate the Cleveland Indians, their third straight AL Central title. It's weird that the Red Sox were the first team to clinch a postseason berth, but they still have yet to clinch their division. That's just how good the AL East has been and how terrible the AL Central is this year.
That's true. And by the way,
yeah,
the Tampa Bay Rays, Kevin Cash has got to be the manager of the year, right? I mean,
I would think so. I would really think so. He should be. There's no way a team that the starting lineup has changed something like 30 times over the year. They've traded away half the team that they had on the starting lineup on opening day, and yet you're still over 500.
There's 16 games over 500.
I know.
So, I mean, you put them in any other division other than the AL West, and they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. That's the scary.
God, the National League is so terrible. It's so
National
bad.
League's not good. No, National League is not good. So, but fun races.
But hey, Yasiel Puig is good. He had 5 home runs over the weekend.
Yasi Puig is yes. I don't know what happened to him. Going to Oklahoma City might have been the greatest thing to ever happen to Yasiel Puig a couple of years ago when he got sent down to AAA. That might
the exact opposite of Kevin Durant. It's the worst thing that happened to him apparently because he couldn't stay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, not competitive divisions in the not great, I should say, talent in the National League, and that's not even really fair to say, but just really exciting races. I mean, the NL West is going to be a lot of fun. I would not have thought the Rockies would have made it this far. I really did not think that. So
yeah, they've done a nice job.
They've done a great job.
And real quick, the 2 Cy Young winners pitched against each other last night.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's really hard for me to go one way or the other. Like, listen, I get it. Jacob deGrom should 100% win the Cy Young Award, but he plays on the worst team to ever have a Cy Young Award winner.
I don't care. He's going to win, and if he doesn't, then the whole sport should just be burned to the ground.
He should get it. He 100% should get it. And I don't know how much. I don't know how much Chris Sale should get it for the Red Sox because he hasn't pitched the last 2 months.
Yeah, but he hasn't. Who else?
Blake Snell, Tampa Bay, Corey Kluber. There have been some really good pitchers in the American League. They don't have the ERA, they don't have the strikeouts, and that's what's going to win it for Chris Sale. But the fact that he hasn't really pitched much hurts. So
God, if Aaron Nola or Max Scherzer went, God, I'll be so angry.
I think everybody would rightfully be. I think the publicity is going to help Jacob deGrom, and he will end up winning the Cy Young Award.
Yeah, but
it shouldn't be a contest.
Look,
I know.
Yeah, you say that Chris Snell or that Chris Sale barely pitches. He only has 14 less innings than Snell. Snell's only pitched 164 innings.
Yeah, I know.
And Sale has 30 more strikeouts. Okay, now granted, he only has 12 wins.
The ERA is what, like 1.76?
No, Sale's is 1.92.
Oh, okay.
Snell is 2.03, but Sale's whip is way better, and he's got a better WAR.
Yeah. Listen, you're talking to a Red Sox fan here. Listen, the Red Sox are legitimately going to have the Cy Young, the MVP, and potentially the Manager of the Year.
I mean, for heaven's sake, Sale has 30 more strikeouts and 25 less walks. It's not even a debate. It's not even a debate.
Okay, good. All right, I'm fine. I'll stop arguing about it then.
Why are you arguing with me? Damn it, you're a Red Sox fan. I'm right, you're wrong. God.
Because I don't care. I just want them to freaking win the World Series this year.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
If they lose in the divisional series, oh my God.
No, they're going to get to the championship series, and the Astros are going to smack them right in the mouth.
All right, we're going to have this. I'm putting a poll question out for in 5 weeks' time. All right, it's going to be our poll question in 5 weeks or 4 weeks, I should say. More disappointing regular season: the 73-9 Golden State Warriors or this year's Red Sox? Yep.
No,
I'll let you think about that. I'll let you think about that. Exactly. You got a few weeks because we got a few weeks till the Red Sox. See, this is the problem. This is the problem with being a Red Sox fan. We should have no reason. Red Sox fans have no reason to be pessimistic. No reason, especially in today's generation. I have seen 3 World Series championships in my lifetime as a Red Sox fan.
Really enough, so you're fine.
Exactly. But yet I still feel pessimistic, and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Just still waiting for it. So, anyway.
And by the way, one more thing before we go to break. Dwayne Wade coming back for his 16th season. What about that?
Yay.
Yeah, does anyone? I mean, who cares?
Yay.
Miami's going to be terrible.
Exactly.
It doesn't even matter,
Miami's
I
going to
guess.
be awful. It doesn't really matter.
Dwayne Wade's already a Hall of Famer.
I still stand by the ridiculous statement I made a couple months ago saying that the Orlando Magic are at least going to be competitive this year. I still stand by that. So,
Well, you can stand by it.
They might be the most fun team to watch in Florida in the NBA this year.
Okay, so it's between Orlando and Miami. I mean, there's no,
Exactly.
there's no Jacksonville, like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. The Tallahassee, I don't know. Who cares? Anyway.
All right, it's time to go to break. This is a train wreck. All right, you're listening to the Cheap Seats on the Public House Media Network.
11 minutes in, everyone's already turned off the radio. All right.
Presented by, well, we're not on the radio, Christian, so what are you talking about? God almighty. We're presented by Squadcast.fm. If you want to make a podcast, it'll likely be better than this one. Just go to Squadcast.fm. We're going to take a break. We're going to collect ourselves. We're going to talk college football. Notre Dame is the worst 3-0 team I've ever seen in my entire life. So we'll discuss that. What a disaster. What an embarrassment to college football that team is. They are awful. And yet they're 3-0. They're terrible. They're
Florida
terrible.
State lost to Syracuse.
You didn't listen to what I just said. I said they're the worst top 10 team ever.
All right.
Ever.
Fine.
They're terrible. Florida State is bad, though. When you can give up 30 points to Syracuse, which... that's about how many points, they score in college basketball with their zone and all that trash. That's bad.
Yeah,
God,
really
Florida
bad.
State's so bad. Willie Taggart's going to be fired already. They should just get rid of him.
Probably.
All right, we're going to take a break. Yeah, they should. All right, when we come back, we'll talk college football. We'll try to compose ourselves. This is the Cheap Seats on the Public House Media Network.
Hi, this is Baxter Colburn, host of the Verse of the Day podcast here on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Verse of the Day, where we take a look at real-world experiences and applications to one Bible verse every Monday through Friday as we get an idea of what it looks like to be a little bit better of a Christian and how we can make this world a better place, one verse at a time. I hope you'll join me every single Monday through Friday right here on Public House Media. And I hope you'll subscribe by going to Apple Podcasts or wherever you find good podcasts as well. Once again, thanks for tuning in to the following broadcast here on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody? This is Keith.
And Katie, hosts of Coffee with Keith and Katie, here on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. When you're done here, I hope you'll check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie,
where we talk about our lives and relationship over a cup of coffee.
A new episode airs on Facebook Live every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Coffee with Keith and Katie.
Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
All the things that I used to say, all the words that got in the way, all the things that I used to know have gone out the window. All the things that she used to bring, all the songs that she used to sing, all the favorite TV shows have gone out the window.
Little Sugar Ray here inside the Cheap Seats on the Public House Media Network. Whatever happened to Mark McGrath? Whatever happened to him?
Sirius XM 90s on 9. Every weekend he hosts it's called Mark McGrath's 120.
So that's what he's doing. Christian's all over it. Jon Lauder, Christian Heimall with
Mark
you.
McGrath,
all over Mark McGrath, physically, mentally, emotionally. You can follow Christian on Twitter at Chris Heimall, CHRISHGI.
Appreciate it.
MALL. I mean, I wouldn't, especially not when the Red Sox lose to the Astros. You can follow me on Twitter at Jon_Lauder, JON_LAUDER. I almost broke my phone today when I realized that the Packers tied the Vikings. Really a depressing moment in my life.
Yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. So we're going to talk some college football. Really, just end the season now. I mean, you know what? It's gotten to the point with this 14 playoff that we're really wasting our time. because Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State are going to the playoff. They just are. I mean, they're, the only way that this could be different is if somehow Ohio State, chokes on a chicken bone or something and Oklahoma goes undefeated. That's it. I mean, LSU's going to lose. Stanford's going to lose. Notre Dame, don't even. Auburn's already lost. Penn State, no. Washington's already lost. West Virginia, they can't even spell playoffs down there.
Well, but that's the thing. I mean, you look at the conferences that they're in. Nobody is challenging Clemson in the ACC, as we've already talked about.
No.
So there's no reason to even bother in that conference. The SEC is going to come down to Alabama and Georgia, and it doesn't matter because the two teams in the SEC championship game are already going to make it to the finals. I mean, so it's not like this is something that is going to have to really kind of bother people. And then in the Big Ten, the only way, like you said, I mean, Ohio State's got to really legitimately choke, and I don't see that happening. I mean, the only way Clemson doesn't make, let me see here, like the only way Clemson doesn't make it, honestly, is if they lose to Virginia Tech in the ACC title game. That's the only way. Or that's it. That's the only way they don't make the playoffs is losing to Va Tech, and then like you said, Oklahoma goes undefeated. But again, and here's my other issue when it comes to the playoff. I've never really thought about this much until this year. Really, just now thinking about Oklahoma going undefeated.
Right.
What would you rather see? Would you rather see an undefeated ACC champion Virginia Tech in the playoff? Let's just assume that they beat Clemson in the ACC title game.
Yes.
Or would you rather see a potentially one-loss Big 12 champion Oklahoma with potential Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray?
I'd rather see Virginia Tech because Tua's winning the Heisman Trophy.
But what I'm saying is the ratings there. Would you rather watch Kyler Murray or Virginia Tech?
Yeah, but you know what? That's the whole problem with this. If it's about ratings, then you're not doing it correctly.
I agree, and I don't know if that's a factor. But
if Virginia Tech beats Clemson, who is unquestionably the second best team in the country, in my opinion, then they deserve to be there. I don't care about Oklahoma then.
Right. So let's say they're both undefeated. Both conference champions.
Virginia Tech and Oklahoma?
Right.
Oh, then I'm taking Oklahoma.
Okay.
But you said Oklahoma with one loss.
Right,
that's different.
Right. You're right. I did say that. So, I mean, but that's the thing. As long as people stay, like, listen, Wisconsin already screwed themselves out of the Big Ten title game. Like, sorry, no. God, they fell off huge, too, in the latest rankings. That's unbelievable to drop 12 spots like they did.
Well, they deserved it. I mean, BYU's terrible. Like, that was terrible.
So, I mean, and you're right. I mean, again, Alabama, Georgia, it does not matter. Auburn, choking to LSU, not good for them. So, and unless somehow LSU is able to come away, because let's see, did Bama play LSU this year? They're in the same.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both in the West. So yeah, so like unless LSU beats, actually no, they don't. Yes, they do. Sorry, November 3rd on the road in Baton Rouge. So
yes,
yeah, it'll be those four. It will be. But I do think at some point there will be that conversation had, and I hate to say this, but I believe that conversation will be had. Is who would you rather watch? Would you rather watch Kyler Murray, or would you rather watch, Dwayne Haskins? Like, that's the decision it's going to come down to if they're both undefeated.
Well, I'm looking right now at the passer efficiency leaders in college football. Mm-hmm. Tua's number 2.
Okay.
Jake Fromm is 5.
Yep.
Kyler Murray 6.
Okay.
Dwayne Haskins is 8.
Yeah, so you got the four of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country.
And then the rest of them are a bunch of guys you've never heard of except for Will Grier.
Where's Kelly Bryant?
Kelly Bryant? I don't even see him on this list.
Yeah. So,
but Trevor Lawrence is 13th, and he'd be higher if he had more attempts. He only has 42 attempts.
So, I don't know.
Kelly Bryant is 34th.
Wow. Okay, but this has been my argument with the college football playoff. Like 4 is great. 4 really is good, but it needs to go to 16.
Oh, it has to.
I don't care about 8. I don't care about 12. Just go right to 16.
Oh, wow. See, I don't know if it should be 16.
Oh, my God. Go to 16. Get rid of the bowl season. You can still have the bowl games. They're just now, like semifinal rounds or something, or quarterfinal rounds. You can still have the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the Idaho Potato Bowl, except this time it's, SEC champion Alabama against Mountain West champion Boise State.
God, I love Idaho potatoes.
I do too. But
so delicious.
But that's my point. Like that's the thing. Like look at it. And I've done this before, and I've blogged about this, and I've screamed about it on a couple of other podcasts. But I believe you have, if I'm correct, you have 11 conferences in college football at the 1A level. So you get your automatic qualifier by winning your league, and then you get seeded. Who cares if it's Alabama against, let's say it'd be Alabama against North Texas. Like, we know Alabama's going to roll, but at least you can say North Texas got there. At least you can say you gave them a chance. You gave UCF a legitimate title shot. And then the people who are upset that UCF has a national championship parade and a ring can all shut up because at least you gave them a shot.
Yeah, I just feel like 16's too many. I just don't think.
Why?
I don't
Why
think
is 16 too many?
Mississippi State and Oklahoma State do not deserve to be in the playoff with teams like LSU, Ohio State, Clemson. To me, it should be 8. I think 8's a good number.
But see, and this is but like in college basketball, we're okay with a team like Hampton playing Kentucky. We're okay with a team like UMBC playing Virginia for the sheer hope that maybe an upset happens. Why not go to 16 and let the little guy in?
I just feel like football is different from basketball.
It makes so much more money. It would make so much more money than the bowl games would. So much more than these stupid, Papa John's we suck at pizza, but here's football bowl. Like, it would make so much. It would be so much better if it was a quarterfinal game. It would be so much better. So much better.
You're in the Chief Seats on the Public House Media Network. Jon Lauder, Christian Heimall with you on this Monday, September 17th. We're presented by Squadcast.fm. Okay. Most impressive top 10 team, least impressive top 10 team, go.
Most impressive top 10 team is easily Alabama, but I mean that's also because they put up like 60-something, every single game.
62 points against an SEC team. 62!
Yeah, they're just unbelievable. Like, that's not fair. That's not allowed.
This is easily the best quarterback Nick Saban's ever had.
Dude, I was saying this yesterday. I was literally saying this yesterday. Tua Tagovailoa might be the best Alabama quarterback since Bart Starr.
Yeah, he probably is. Their quarterbacks suck always.
I mean, other than you look at A.J. McCarron, who has all the records. Tua, because he's only a sophomore, he's a true sophomore this year, he will break all of those records by the time he's drafted. Yeah. And, I was watching some of that game on Saturday, and he was making pro-level passes.
He's unbelievable.
Go back and watch Peyton Manning at Tennessee and some of these cross-field passes that he makes. It's Tua. Tua makes these passes. He's just left-handed. I'm not saying he's a left-handed Peyton Manning. I'm saying he's making the same kind of throws at this level that Peyton was when he was at that level too. It's unbelievable to watch him. He's pro-ready right now.
He's like a left-handed Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go there. Left-handed Pat Mahomes. That's fine. Least impressive top 10 team. I'm going to do it. I'll jump over to your side. I'll do it. My Notre Dame Fighting Irish are freaking embarrassing. Embarrassing. Bad. To be number 8 in the country and to have a dogfight against Vanderbilt? Are you kidding me?
The last 2 games they have played are just awful.
Here's my only saving grace right now with Notre Dame. Under Brian Kelly, they have always played down to their opponents. Always played down. They're going to struggle against Wake Forest. It's why they always struggle and sometimes lose to Navy when they shouldn't. But here's what will happen. They'll struggle against Wake Forest on the road because it's their first real road game. They'll probably lose and be out of any hope for a playoff bid. And then they're going to come back, and in 2 consecutive weeks, they're probably going to blow the doors off Stanford for no reason whatsoever and then somehow beat Virginia Tech. And then they'll have 3 top 15 wins in their first 6 games. But they're going to lose to Wake Forest this week.
And the thing is, the rest of their schedule sucks because USC is awful, and so is Florida State now.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, they'll lose to Wake Forest this week, and then they'll probably beat Stanford, probably beat Virginia Tech. They'll probably go 11-1 with their lone loss being at Wake Forest, and Brian Kelly will be saved for another year.
I mean, to be the best team they've got left after those 2 ranked teams is probably Syracuse.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's true. Pitt, Navy, Northwestern, Florida State, Syracuse, USC. Syracuse is the best team out of that group.
Oh God!
Doesn't matter. They're gonna lose one of these next 3 games.
They're gonna lose to Wake Forest. I'm calling it right now. They will lose to Wake Forest on the road.
By the way, speaking of calling things, I told you that at least one of those Pac-12 teams was going to lose, and 2 of them did.
Yeah, 2 of them went down.
USC sucks. But just look at these stats for Notre Dame. Brandon Winbush, okay, 55 completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 4 picks.
Mm-hmm.
They only have 1 running back averaging over 5 yards a carry. That's Tony Jones.
Yep.
They have no wide receivers over 200 yards. God, they're so bad. They're just so bad.
Yeah. You know who's not bad? Who's not bad at all? Dwayne Haskins. He's good.
Oh, Dwayne Haskins is nasty.
Haskins is very good. I'm all on the Dwayne Haskins train, by the way, for the Heisman. And so, like, looking here, they're literally like, there are a lot of really good guys here potentially. I know the Jonathan Taylor is one, even though Wisconsin kind of he did not do good this past weekend. But I'm loving this kid, Justice Hill. I'm loving Tua. I obviously, you know this. I love me some Jake Fromm. I don't care.
God, do you?
I love me some Jake Fromm. But Dwayne Haskins has been an absolute stud this year for Ohio State, and probably. It helped that he, 344 yards and 2 touchdowns against TCU on the road, technically, or not technically, it was a neutral game, but still, huge second half. So far this year, he's got 890 passing yards already, 11 touchdowns and 1 interception. Yeah, Dwayne Haskins is an absolute stud, and I'm all on the Dwayne Haskins train.
And yet he's still not as good as Tua.
Oh man, what's Tua's numbers? Tua's looking. Let's see here.
Completed like 75% of his passes, 8 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah. Oh man, and he only threw for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's it.
But
that 79-yard pass was ridiculous.
He's incredible.
So he only got 646 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 0 picks through the first 3 games, but he's 36 for 50, 72% of his passes.
Yeah, well, and Jalen Hurts has stolen some of his passes.
That's true. He has. But, oh, man, this might be a really fun, like, it's amazing how every single year we freak out about the quarterback class and whatnot and all the guys that are going to be great quarterbacks, but, I really hope Jake Fromm comes back next year. I don't care. I love me some Jake Fromm. I really do.
That's all right. Fields is going to be better. You don't need Fromm.
I just want the Giants to draft him. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm in love with Jake Fromm. I have no idea.
Yeah, but they have all their eggs in the terrible Eli Manning basket, so they won't do that.
Whoa. Yeah, he's bad this year. Yeah.
How crazy is it that the city of New York has the 2 most overrated athletes maybe in the history of sports?
Is Carmelo Anthony back to being a Knick?
Eli Manning, Joe Namath.
Oh, no. You cannot put Eli. Stop it.
No, you know what? Eli's better than Joe. Sorry.
I was about to say, Eli's better than Joe. Come on. That's
God, everybody's better than Joe. Ugh,
that's
can't
so
stand
mean.
Joe.
So. All right, your most and least impressive top 10 teams.
Well, Notre Dame is the least impressive team in the history, in all of sports right now. God, they're so bad. Most impressive. I mean, look, it's easy to say Alabama, but they didn't play a ranked team. So I'm going to go with Ohio State. Okay. TCU's a good team. Okay, they top 15 neutral site game. And yeah, they did give up the 28 points, but they played pretty well. So I'm going to go. Oh, actually, and also LSU surviving Auburn was impressive too. I don't think LSU is that good a team, and I think that Alabama's going to smack them up, and that'll be it for them with the playoff. But LSU and Ohio State would tie for me this week.
Yeah, and I mean, and to do it on the road too for LSU, and for the second straight year coming back in the fourth quarter against Auburn.
Yeah, it's impressive.
That's huge.
Auburn's a good team.
Auburn is, and Jason Stidham has struggled. He's been hyped up a lot this year. He had a very good end of the year last year, but he did not play well in the second half in that game at home against LSU. So. Yeah, but and I like Ohio State as that pick too because for what it's worth, and oh my God, we got to bring this up. I know we're also up against a break. They did it without Urban Meyer, who, by the way, just needs to shut up.
Yeah, God, he's a disaster.
Shut up. I'm sorry, but did you watch any of his interview yesterday on ESPN? With
I
Tom
saw
Rinaldi?
snippets. He's a disaster.
The fact that the university's report says that Courtney Smith texted pictures and all this stuff to your wife, and your wife calls the cops asking for more information. and you still to this day say you don't, like, she didn't tell you anything? How does your wife not say anything? This is one of your coworkers' wives.
Yeah, you just gotta
I don't believe that
stop,
at
man.
all. I don't believe that at all.
Mess.
And I'm sorry, but like if Shelley Smith really does, like, I hate to throw this on her, I really do, but like Shelley Myers got to come out and say something. Like, no, I never told my husband, or yes, I'm sorry, I told my husband. Like, it may cost him his job, it may cost you his marriage, but you know what? Out of respect for Courtney Smith, you got to come out and say something if you're Shelley Meyer.
Yeah.
That's just
I see what you're saying. The whole thing's a mess. All right, we're going to take a break here. We got to talk pro football. A lot of stuff going on. Crazy week again. The NFL just makes no sense.
Psycho.
It's just
and a lot of it's off the field this week.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so when we come back, we'll talk NFL. Then we got some Mojo Monday as well coming up. Inside the Cheap Seats here on the Public House Media Network, presented by Squadcast.fm.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth, co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
I got the magic in me. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold. Everybody knows I got the magic in me.
Magic. Johnny, do you believe in the magic?
You mean Pat Mahomes? Because yes, I do.
No. Ryan Fitzmagic, baby.
Yeah, you know what? Seriously, what the hell, man? Like,
I'm all in. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't understand him at all. Like, why does he pretend like he's good and then he's not? I don't know. It's so weird.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like just look at these numbers. Hang on. Look at these numbers through his first 2 weeks. It's absolutely unbelievable. Ryan Fitzpatrick, through the first 2 weeks, he's got 8 touchdowns. Let's see here. 8 touchdowns.
820 yards passing.
828 yards and what, 1 interception?
Yeah, and over 77 completion percentage.
And a quarterback rating of like 145. It's unbelievable.
I am going to make a prediction right now.
Yeah.
Okay, he has 8 touchdowns. He will not get 8 the rest of the season.
Well, that's because the Buccaneers are going to do something stupid and play Jameis Winston when he's back. I'm sorry, Jameis Winston lost his job. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I don't think it's that simple. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't think he's going to lose his job. I think that Winston has lost his job.
Yeah.
I disagree.
This is the thing with Ryan Fitzpatrick that is he's an enigma to me. I don't get it, John. This is interesting. So like look at his career real quick. So if you look at his career, did nothing in St. Louis his first 2 years. Cincinnati, nothing. Buffalo in 2009, nothing. 2010, 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Not a great touchdown-interception ratio. His completion percentage was 58%. Okay, nothing great. 2011, 62% completion percentage, 3,800 yards. The touchdown-to-interception ratio, again, bad, 24-23, almost a 1-to-1. 2012, 3,400 passing yards, 24 touchdowns. Like, he's been consistent from a production standpoint. His year with the Jets in 2015, 31 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, almost 4,000 passing yards, but his completion percentage was under 60%. So they changed things around in 2016, and then they get rid of him. I feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick is one of those guys that when a team actually invests in him, he could be great, but nobody's actually really invested in him. So he's not.
I don't know if he can be great. It's so weird. I don't know.
Listen, I'm not putting him as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game, but he's definitely a playoff quarterback. No. He's definitely a playoff quarterback.
He's better than Eli Manning at this point.
At this point, yes. You know who's also better than right now because he did not play well yesterday either? Drew Brees.
Yeah, what is up with Drew Brees?
What's with the Saints? I don't. Their defense couldn't hold off Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then their offense couldn't beat the Browns.
Well, and the Browns, if they had a kicker that could kick. What is up with kickers? Nobody.
Dude, Zane Gonzalez.
Nobody can kick. The Vikings kicker's terrible. Mason Crosby was normally good, missed a 52-yarder. God, the kickers are bad this year.
Browns, Gonzalez misses 2 extra points and 2 field goals. On the road. In a dome. It's not like you were outside in Cleveland. You were in a dome. Like, come on. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't get it. And seriously, what is up with Drew Brees completing 28 passes for only 243 yards?
I have no idea. But like, is this how? I really do wonder this. I really do wonder how much of this is the fact that Mark Ingram isn't there, and so now it's not a dual threat. Now you can't line up Ingram and Kamara, and wonder, is he going to throw Kamara out of the backfield? Is he going to hand it off to Ingram?
Well, I wonder how much of it. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've got 2 more games, so they just have to survive. But look, I mean, just going around the league real quick, not a shocker that the Chargers beat the Bills. The Bills are the worst team in football.
Brutal.
Really did not expect Washington to play as bad as they did at home. Alex Smith right back to earth.
Yep.
So they were not great. Adrian Peterson terrible, which I could have predicted. That week 1 was a mirage. Yep. He's done. Just kind of looking at some of the other games, Kansas City-Pittsburgh was the best game of the day, though.
Oh, my God. Awesome.
That and Minnesota-Green Bay. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is ridiculous. 23 of 28, 326 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 154 quarterback rating. He's the first quarterback in I don't remember how many years to have over 10 touchdowns in his first 3 games.
First ever.
First ever. Thank you. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, all over 90 yards. Good God, they are so good.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce too. I mean, like Kelce is quietly emerging as maybe like. Is it wrong to say Hall of Famer for him?
Kelce?
Yeah. Is it too early for that, or is it?
It's way too early. He only has He doesn't even have 4,000 career receiving yards.
I just feel like with how much he gets used and with how much we talk about him, we don't talk about him, yet we always see him on a highlight. I don't. I
mean, look, this is his 5th season. He has 5 more like this. Get back to me.
All right, fair enough. All right,
because he's not Gronk. Gronk's the best tight end ever, as far as I'm concerned.
Tony Gonzalez still.
I know, but no tight end has changed the game like Gronkowski.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. So, let's see. Falcons finally are able to score in the red zone, beating the Panthers. Titans hold on against the Texans.
Texans. Whoa, stop. Texans. They're a disaster. They're a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, what is going on over there? How are they 0-2? Bill O'Brien. Yeah, it's clearly Bill O'Brien's fault.
Bill O'Brien.
Stupid Belichick coaching tree.
Belichick coaching tree does not exist. It's not there. Nope. So it's Brown.
Now,
Niners. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo's back.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? The Lions suck, and they almost beat them.
They almost beat them.
You know what? It's really simple, Christian. There's 3 teams that can win the Super Bowl, and they're all in the NFC.
The Rams.
Philadelphia, Minnesota, the Rams. That's it.
That's even your Packers?
No, their defense is not good enough.
All right. Okay.
I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers was playing basically on like one leg and then a half a leg.
Yeah.
And they almost beat Minnesota. So with Rodgers, they always have a shot, but their defense just isn't good enough. And there's no one in the AFC that can win the Super Bowl.
No, I agree with that. By the way, If you want to have fun competing with John and I. We forgot to mention this last week, but we're doing a pick'em pool, Cheap Seats.
Yes,
Public House
I'm
Media
doing terrible.
pick'em on ESPN. It's been it's been a bad 2 weeks for everybody. But head to our Facebook page, Cheap Seats by Public House Media. You can find the link there. You can sign up, win prizes each week as well as for cumulative. So if you were like me, and you could also, by the way, on Tuesday nights now, we're starting our Tuesday night quarterbacks hosted by Kayla Zenner. You can check her out tomorrow night on our Facebook page. We're going to be talking a lot about the weekend in football and previewing. This past week, John, I did tell you what I thought the juiciest game of the week was going to be, Jaguars-Patriots. And the Jags at home with a 31-20 win over the defending AFC champs.
Yes.
And the Patriots, I was texting back and forth with my brother yesterday, who's a huge Patriots fan. And he's like, I don't understand how a team could look so good week 1 and then look this bad week 2. I go, well, number 1, you've got no wide receivers. You got negative running backs, basically, an offensive line that was pilfered in the offseason, and a defense that hasn't been good in 5 years. And all of that kind of showed up in Jacksonville.
And, yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. New England is still probably going to win 11 or 12 games, and they're going to be the team to beat in the AFC. Because Jacksonville is not good enough offensively. They're just not.
No, they're not.
And that's why the AFC has no chance to win the Super Bowl. They just have no chance.
Don't disagree. Biggest back-to-earth moment over the weekend, who had it?
Biggest back-to-earth moment, and who had it?
Because we had a lot of overreactions in week 1, and a lot of people got brought back to earth this past weekend.
I mean, I think it's kind of unfair to say Sam Darnold because he's a rookie and this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm, maybe Washington. Everybody was tooting their horn last week, and they were just god-awful.
All right. I'm going to go 40 miles up I-95 to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, there you go. That's a good one.
Oh, my God.
See, I forgot about them because Thursday Night Football is so stupid.
You beat the Bills, for God's sakes, and then you just had A.J. Green put up 3 touchdowns in a quarter and a half.
Yeah, and okay. You know what? Speaking of Ryan Fitzpatrick being weird, Andy Dalton, what's with you, bro? You're like good for a game or two, and then you're effing terrible the rest of the whole year, okay? Like his career makes no sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
it really
he's in his 8th. Yeah, he's in his 8th season. All right. His best
Ryan Fitzpatrick, by the way, at Cincinnati.
Yes. So his best season was in 2015, 25 touchdowns, 7 picks, 106 quarterback rating. The most touchdowns he's had in a season is 33 back in 2013. He's almost got a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and he's already at 26,000 yards. God, he's had a weird career.
Marvin Lewis.
Why does he still have a job?
Just get rid of him. Get rid of him. All right. But yeah, so, I mean, Baltimore Ravens fans, welcome back to earth. You're terrible. Sorry, Mike Florio. I don't care that you picked them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know what was
Mike
smoking
Florio
that day.
What was he drinking when he did that? I mean, that makes no sense.
I have no idea what he was drinking. But, all right, let's get to our poll question because we haven't touched on that yet. We got a few minutes left here before we had to break. But we talk about weird in the NFL, John, and even weirder happened over the weekend. Josh Gordon apparently hurt his hamstring during a promotional shoot, showed up to the Browns practice facility over the weekend. Not only was he hurt, but he apparently was under the influence of a smokable plant, shall we call it. And so the Browns apparently announced that they're going to release him today, try to trade him potentially, whatever it may be. So this brings up our poll question. If you want to head over to the Cheap Seats by Public House Media on Facebook, you can vote. Considering that he's about to be released, John, who would you rather have as a wide receiver right now in the NFL? The soon-to-be-released Josh Gordon or the still looking for employment and kind of throwing shade at his old team, Dez Bryant?
It's Dez, and I can't believe I'm saying that because Josh Gordon is way more talented than Dez at this point, but it's Dez. If Josh Gordon came and stay on the field, he's a mess. He honestly should never play again. He should be done.
Is that more because of his off-the-field stuff?
Yes.
It's
you
so
can't trust him.
Me. It's so weird to me that the NFL, apparently, if you read a lot of the reports, the NFL was trying to find another way around suspending Josh Gordon for another year so that he could play this season, so that they could look as if they weren't coming down hard on a drug that a lot of people feel should not be part of a substance abuse policy. And it's continuing on that track. I'm not saying that we're going to have marijuana as a legal drug in the NFL in the next 2 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's legal in the next 5 to 10 years as part of the next collective bargaining agreement. But I just find it hard to believe that if the league is going to try to keep him on the field, the Browns wouldn't also be trying to find a way to keep him on the field. And that another team wouldn't either. I mean, for crying out loud, the Seattle Seahawks signed a guy who's going to prison in 4 months.
Yeah, they're dumb. I mean, the Seahawks are a mess now. They're terrible.
Michael Kendrick is going to jail. It's not like he already pleaded guilty. He's going to jail in 4 months.
Well, the whole offensive line should be going to jail, too, because they're getting Russell Wilson murdered out there. So
they're accomplices. So, simply for the argument standpoint, and because he is just a much more talented receiver, I'd rather have Josh Gordon. I really would. I mean, I will deal with the headaches. I will deal with it as long as you can go there on Sundays and catch me some touchdowns. That's all I care about.
That's fine. You have Josh Gordon, and then in 2 games you won't have him anymore. That's fine.
That's fine. That's better than, Dez dropping a touchdown pass. So
okay, fair.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, preview Monday night tonight. We'll also get to our Mojo Monday. There's some bad mojo going all over the place.
And we got to talk a little Sunday Night Football. You trying to avoid it right now, big boy?
Yes, I've been trying to avoid it quite a lot. We're not talking about it. More disappointing 0-2 start, Nebraska or the Giants?
Yeah.
That's called a tease. We'll touch on that after the break. You're listening to the Cheap Seats on the Public House Media Network, brought to you by Squadcast.fm.
This is Sam Kirby, host of Cinema Stories here on Public House Media. Thank you for tuning into the following broadcast here on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Cinema Stories, where we talk about movie and TV news and reviews, and maybe, just maybe, we'll learn a little something about ourselves. If not, then maybe I made you laugh a couple of times. I don't know. New episodes air bi-weekly on Tuesdays. Thanks again for checking out the totally spectacular following broadcast here on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody? This is Keith.
And Katie, hosts of Coffee with Keith and Katie, here on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. When you're done here, I hope you'll check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie,
where we talk about our lives and relationship over a cup of coffee.
A new episode airs on Facebook Live every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Coffee with Keith and Katie.
Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Little Monday Night Football music to wrap things up here inside the Cheap Seats. Jon Lauder, Christian Heimall with you on the Public House Media Network, presented by Squadcast.fm. And yes, we do have one more game, yet it's kind of that whole thing, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, does it make a noise? If there's a Monday Night Football game but nobody watches, it doesn't really happen. Because this is
I was 2-0 last week, by the way.
It's going to be a really terrible football game because Chicago is terrible, and so Seattle.
Will it
but
be
real
worse
quick,
than last night's game?
I don't know. Yeah,
Will
last
it be
night's game
worse
was
than
rough.
the New York hapless Giants against the
Dallas
can't figure
also
out
hapless Cowboys?
How to coach Jason Garrett's. So,
I mean, when you look at a box score in the first half and you see that Saquon Barkley had 7 receptions and only 2 carries at one point in that second quarter, my God! I mean,
John,
both of these teams are just atrocious.
At one point in the first half, the Saquon Barkley had more catches than the Giants had rushes, than the team had rushes. That's not how your number 2 overall pick running back is supposed to work.
Yeah, but when you have Eli Manning, complete all his passes, but each one's for a yard.
Because they have a terrible offensive line that gives him no time to actually throw the ball down the field, so he's got to put it out in the flat to Wayne Gallman, for God's sakes.
Okay, so you can explain that. How do you explain Tavon Austin getting a 64-yard touchdown catch?
Because
explain
the
that one.
Have Zach Martin and the Giants have Eric Flowers.
That's true. They do have Zach Martin. He is a big boy.
And the Giants have Eric Flowers.
That's true.
Who consistently for the last 3 years, since he's been drafted in the first, he was a first-round draft pick, for God's sakes. Since being drafted, he has been consistently, by many, rated the worst offensive lineman in the league. And yet the Giants were okay. Ugh. I've been saying this, I've been screaming this from the rooftop since freaking January. The Giants should have drafted Quentin Nelson number 2 overall. You could have
he's
drafted
looking real
Nick
good
Chubb.
with the Colts.
You could have drafted Nick Chubb or Sonny Michel or whoever the hell you felt like. You could have grabbed LeGarrette Blount or Mike Gillislee off the scrap heap as a running back. But at least you would have been able to protect Eli Manning.
Yeah, it's true.
Ugh.
It's irrelevant.
So
Neither of those
mad.
teams are going to make the playoffs. Who cares? They're both terrible.
So mad.
So who's going to win this game tonight? I mean, no one cares, but who's going to win?
Let's recap first off because I was 2-0 last week in our Monday night picks because I picked the Jets outright to win, and they did.
Didn't I pick them too?
No, you picked. I thought you picked the Lions to cover.
Yeah, I probably did.
And then we both picked the Rams because let's be honest, the Raiders suck.
Please
don't care if they won. Don't care. Let's see.
Yeah, I did
Bears.
pick the Lions.
How are the Bears 3.5-point favorites on the road in this game?
Well, first of all, they're at home.
Yes, they are. You're right. Sorry. My apologies.
First of all, they're at home. Second of all, Seattle's really bad.
God, man, that's how things have fallen for Pete Carroll in Seattle.
They have nothing but Russell Wilson. They're I'm not kidding you. They're almost worse. It's almost worse than the whole Aaron Rodgers is everything to the Packers now. Seattle's a terrible football team. They're really bad.
I'm gonna go Bears here at home. I think they cover. I think they win by a touchdown. Khalil Mack with another week under his belt, extra day rest, and I really do like Mitchell Trubisky. I really do. So yeah, and you're right. Seattle's just god awful. So I'm going Bears.
And now that I've said all that, I'm picking Seahawks. Because I love Russell Wilson. He's still really good, and he's better than Mitch Trubisky. So the Seahawks win this game. It's going to be irrelevant for the rest of the season because they have no shot to make the playoffs. But I'm going to pick Seattle, even though I just finished crapping on them. So, that's how it goes. But they'll win by 5 points or something or whatever.
If you want to compete against John and I in just a straight pick'em league, no spreads, no confidence pick'em, no nothing, head over to our Facebook page, Cheap Seats by Public House Media. You'll find a link there to join our Cheap Seats by Public House Media 2018 Pick'em League. Again, it's a straight pick'em. Winners every
and no one's
week.
doing well. So
nobody's doing well. So hop. You might be able to win. You can win prizes every week, but if you jump in now because of how bad we're all doing, you might win for the whole season too. Who knows? So you got a pretty good shot at that. You can also head to the Facebook page to vote on our poll question. Who would you rather have right now, Josh Gordon or Des Bryant? If you're the GM of a team that needs a wide receiver, like, I don't know, the Cowboys, who are you picking up and giving a phone call to? So John thinks Des, I think Josh. That's just how things roll here. You can also find us, by the way, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker.com, and more. Head to thephmedia.com for some great information, not only on this show, but on all of our other great shows here on Public House Media. Get yourself some show swag as well. You can follow John on Twitter at JON_LAUDER. You can follow myself on Twitter if you want to at Chris Heimall, CHRISHEIMALL. As we like to do every single Monday, John, whether it's good or whether it's bad, somebody's got mojo. Who are you giving your Mojo Monday to?
I'm going to read you something before I say anything else.
Okay.
This is not how I pictured retiring from the NFL. But in my 10th NFL season, I've been doing what my body has been programmed to do, get ready to play on game day. I've endured multiple surgeries and played through many different injuries throughout my career, and over the last few weeks, this was the latest physical challenge. But today, on the field, reality hit me fast and hard. Josh Allen is my quarterback.
Oh, my God. For a second, I thought it was like Joe Thomas. I mean, he retired a long time ago. He retired a few months ago.
Now, it's funny because... well... I put that in there. That's not what was actually said. What he said was, I shouldn't be out there anymore. I have bad mojo for Vontae Davis for being an embarrassment to all of professional sports, okay?
Yeah.
Now, we did not bring this up before because I had told Christian this was going to be my Mojo Monday. Don't think that we forgot about it. So at the halftime of the Bills game, now, for those of you that don't know, the Bills are the worst team in the history of the NFL. They're incredibly terrible. They started a guy named Nathan Peterman last week, who is the guy that used to make the magazines in Seinfeld. He threw like 1,000 interceptions last year in one half, and then this year he completed like one pass out of 30 for like 15 more interceptions, okay? The Buffalo Bills are so bad that the quarterback at the high school that I teach at could come in, he'd be much better, okay? So Buffalo's incredibly bad. Really, really bad, okay? Vontae Davis, in his defense, has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league over his career. Was very sort of unsung, played for Indianapolis, has really not played for anybody all that good. Right. Didn't even realize he was on the Bills at this point. It's not like I've been following his career all that closely. So Vontae Davis decided at the half of the Chargers game, okay, and I just became a girl there for a second. It was 28-6 Chargers, by the way, 28-6.
Yeah, it was not good.
No. Davis decided, you know what? I'm good. He put on his street clothes. He walked out.
That's unbelievable.
Not only is it unbelievable, it's shameful. Okay?
Yeah, it's a great word.
And if he ever decides to unretire, if any team picks him up, they should be disbanded from the NFL. This guy's an embarrassment. The fact that you wouldn't finish the game is not only an embarrassment to your team and to the coaches, it's also to the ownership, the league, and professional football itself. The fans. I mean, get out of here, dude. Unbelievable.
And by the way, if the Bills don't sue for that $3.5 million of his 1-year deal that is guaranteed, he's guaranteed $3.5 million of his $5 million deal that he signed this year with the Bills. If they don't sue to get that's a poor job on them. And the league should rule in the Bills' favor because you don't quit on your team at halftime.
No.
I'm sorry, that's an embarrassment to the game. We talk about respect the game. Respect the game. And Vontae Davis clearly didn't. Did you see Lorenzo Alexander, who was a guy who was probably really excited to get to learn and be mentored a little bit by Vontae Davis, after the game was like, no, they told me as we were heading out to the field the second half, he's not coming out. You don't even tell your teammates anything? You don't say anything? Come on, dude.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, my God.
That's my bad mojo for the year.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad one. All right, I got another one here for you. Another bad mojo. This one happened on Saturday in the middle of the Washington Nationals game. And if you do follow me on Twitter, you would have seen me tweet out about this on Saturday night. So Laz Diaz had some issues with Bryce Harper, apparently. Harper was out in center field, just being Bryce Harper, playing center field, being, one of the young stars of the game. And all of a sudden, Laz Diaz jumps out from behind the plate and starts yelling at center field. I don't need to hear it from you all the way out there. He turns to the Nationals dugout and starts yelling at Davey Martinez as well, saying you need to talk to him, you need to take care of it, or I will. And to Davey Martinez's credit, he's going, the game's right here. What are you looking out in center field for? The game's right here. And then the next time Harper gets to the plate, a ball that was 4.5, literally, I promise you, it was 3 feet off the plate. Laz Diaz calls a strike on Harper. And Harper just kind of shakes his head okay, you're trying to big league me, I get it. Steps into the box, calls for time because he can't deal with it. He starts jarring at Diaz. And then Martinez realizes his center fielder might get tossed. Diaz is I'm letting him have his say. Harper grounds out, and then Laz Diaz eyeballs Bryce Harper all the way back to the dugout as if he's trying to stand tall on some school ground that he just was able to take control over playing King of the Hill or something like that. The Major League Baseball needs umpires making personal statements the way soccer needs Neymar flopping. It's an embarrassment to the game. Laz Diaz should be reprimanded. He should be embarrassed. He should have to issue a public apology to not only Bryce Harper, but to Davey Martinez and anybody else in that ballpark on that day. It was embarrassing to watch because this takes away Bryce Harper's doing nothing in center field. And if he's really barking at you that big of a deal, focus on the plate. You're the home plate umpire. Call balls and strikes. Don't worry about what a center fielder is doing. It was absolutely embarrassing to see a professional major league umpire who a lot of people have respect for act in that kind of childish manner towards Bryce Harper throughout not just one half inning when Harper's in center field, but the very next time he came up to the plate too. He let it carry on throughout the game, and that's an embarrassment of his profession.
Baseball's the worst.
It's not the worst. Come on. Don't do that.
This stuff happens all the time. Baseball's the worst. The umpires are too much in your face. Jacob deGrom's not going to win the damn Cy Young. I hate baseball. Hate it.
Well, it won't be a show if I don't talk baseball because I'll be upset.
Of course, no, you have to, and it's a great bad mojo because Laz Diaz is the worst. He's awful.
It was embarrassing. It really was
embarrassing.
It was embarrassing to watch. So I could not stand it. All right, so you got the Seahawks tonight. You got them covering or winning outright?
Oh, they're going to win outright, baby.
Okay. All right. I got the Bears minus 3.5. So take it to your bookie, call them up, and lose some money. So there you go. All right. We'll be back next Monday, as we are always here on the Cheap Seats, presented by Squadcast.fm on the Public House Media Network. Brand new show coming out on Wednesday. Brand new host on Wednesday, John. We talked to him last week on Facebook Live. Tanner Burke joining Max Wolpoff this Wednesday. And then, of course, on Friday, you can catch Matt and Jake. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Tuesday night quarterback on the Cheap Seats by Public House Media, Facebook Live, hosted by Kayla Zenner. We'll recap all the fun stuff from tonight and any other big news stories that may break over the weekend. Until then, don't forget to head to our Facebook page, Cheap Seats by Public House Media. Find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. Head to the phmedia.com as well. For Jon Lauder, I'm Christian Heimall. We appreciate you guys being here as you are every single week, all the way up here in the Cheap Seats, presented by Squadcast.fm.